Hello lads, welcome to a brand new video. My name is RuffledRowlit, and today I'll be taking a look at the latest Pokemon leaks and rumors, starting off with the Nintendo Direct coming to us very soon. So here is what's been said. This is from Stealth40k, who says, according to the Nate the Hate, there will be a Nintendo Direct the first week of February. He expects it to be February 5th, but didn't confirm with his best sources. He doesn't know what format the Direct will be, general or partner. Let's be honest, if you guys do not know, Nintendo Directs always happen, usually around this time of the year. They always happen in February, there's usually always one, and it coincides before the Pokemon Day presentation, which usually happens on the 27th, 28th of February, which is Pokemon Day. Also, now let me actually do my real voice. Either way. So yes, according to Nate the Hate, there will be a Nintendo Direct, which will be at the first week of February, apparently, which, I mean, we're literally... next week, yeah, next week of me recording this, it's rumored, and he is apparently implying that that's going to be happening. If you do not know, Nate the Hate has often been correct about these sort of things, and he has sources and stuff. So yeah, February 5th would be landing on... that would be a Thursday, which sounds about right. But yes, that is a perfect timing for them to be doing a Nintendo Direct. And they kind of need a Nintendo Direct. The last one we had, I think, was in September. I could be wrong. I think the last one we had was in September. And let's be real here. There's really nothing from Nintendo right now. Like, let's fully be completely honest here. They haven't announced jack shit. There's no expectation for what you're going to get. The only things you have right now that are actually on the table, which are, again, it's under the Nintendo umbrella, would be Pokopia, which we have confirmed 100%, coming out in March, literally like, early March, mid-March, something like that. You have Pokopia, which, let's be real, it is like budget Animal Crossing, so maybe it'll do good, maybe it'll do bad, I don't know. Pokemon hype is kind of at an all-time low at the moment, just kind of like, it's kind of fluctuating, and it doesn't really, like, invite a lot of people in to want to buy that game, especially, and I really have to emphasize this, because of the pricing, because it does cost $70, $70, they want $70, bruv, I'm not paying that. So, like, they're asking for a lot of money for a game which you also cannot purchase an actual physical copy of. Like, you are not able to. I don't actually know. Do I have a game installed of here? I'll do. So you cannot buy it like this. See this? This right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is Pokemon Ultra Sun. Do you know that? This is Pokemon Ultra Sun. But here's the funny part. You have this. This is physically mine. So long as this chip works, I can play this game forever. As long as I do have a console where I can play it on, where it's functional. However, given the fact that the Switch 2 at the moment is unhackable, there's no way to hack the Switch, it has way too many protections, they haven't been able to find an actual way to hack it as of yet, there is not going to be any sort of way, if hypothetically here, right, and this is just looking at it long term and, thinking about this down the line, if they hypothetically were to close down the Switch 2 shop in the future, and you were somebody who wanted to go back and play Pokopia, right, just because, hey, you wanted to do that, and the only way to get that game was through the shop or through a code or something like that, but there's no connectivity anymore, you literally have no access to that game anymore. Like, it becomes functionally impossible to play and lost media. And I don't like that. And you gotta understand, Nintendo is one of the few companies where their consumer base, especially in Japan, which is they value Japan very much because Japan is like a core market for Nintendo because that's their home country. It's their home turf. So they value how much they sell there. And that's currently where the Switch 2 has sold the best, right? And those people, they really do like their physical versions, okay? Most people in Japan still like buying physical media, like actually having physical media. In the West, it's become more and more common to buy digitally. It's much more usual and normal. It's not that far-fetched that people would, be okay with it over here. But in the, Japanese market, it is still common to buy things physically, like actually having physical media, physical copies of things. So Pokopia is already looking like a bad idea with the lack of an actual physical version, because I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. I personally think it's really ridiculous, and this game, if there is no future way of somebody being able to preserve this game in some shape or form, it's going to become a lost thing over time. Like, it just will, because there will be no physical version that you can sort of retain in some way, or at least, like, you know, keep around in case there ever is a hacked version of the Switch 2 that you can sort of, like, I don't want to say reverse engineer, that sounds really dumb, but, like, a way to sort of, like, be able to still dump the game and keep it around for the future generations that they really want to play Pokopia. But it just, my point stands. Either way, the fact that there will be a Nintendo Direct does kind of, you know, make sense, because it is February, and we really do need one to actually get real games, because like I said, we have Pokopia and that's it. I mean, you do have Pokemon Champions, but that's not really a Switch 2 exclusive. It is a game that's going to be on practically mobile Switch. I don't remember if it's on PC. I don't think so, but I think it's mobile Switch, and Switch 2, I think, will also have it playable. So it's not like an exclusive or anything. It's not something that will indirectly, you know, cause people to go and buy, or directly rather, cause people to go and buy a Switch 2. Like, it's not going to entice you to be like, oh shit, I really need a Switch 2 to play Pokemon Champions, even though you can literally play it on a phone too. Like, there's no point. It's kind of counterproductive to your economy to do that. They need to announce actual games. They need to announce an actual set of new games. I know a lot of people want a new Zelda. A lot of people want a proper new Mario mainline title, right? Like, they want an Odyssey 2 or something, Odyssey adjacent, something like that. I'd love to see like a Mario, what do you call it? Like, not Mario, what am I saying? A Luigi's Mansion. I'd love to see a new Luigi's Mansion. That's something I personally want to see, but they just haven't made one. All they've done is, like, what, re-releases? I think that's all they've done, like a remaster not too long ago. I remember playing, like, I think it was the third game a few years back, but, like, we haven't really seen a new Luigi's Mansion game, stuff like that. Like, they need to announce more stuff, more things, more games. And right now, there's not really a lot for people to necessarily look forward to or to buy a Switch 2 for. Like, if you think back to the Switch 1, people had Breath of the Wild. Like, that was the big thing, right? That was one of the big things on that console. And it was a lot of people's like, I am not really a massive Zelda fan. I never really grew up with Zelda personally. Like, I never did. So I wasn't really that, like, you know, interested in it. But even I, as a first time, like, purchasing the Switch 1, I was like, shit, man, there's two games I'm going to buy. It's going to be Breath of the Wild, and it's going to be Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is exactly what I purchased in, like, 2018 when I went to the US on a trip, because it was cheaper there at the time. But either way, my main point is, even I, someone who generally doesn't really care about Zelda, still purchased it because it was such a big game. It was like, you know, it was like you kind of had to have it, right? You had to try it. You had to have it. It was like a phenomenon almost, because it was such a deviation and such a special game to most people. And the thing is, they have nothing like that right now. Like, there is nothing that hits that level of stride. And if there's supposed to be, I know there's a few games that have been announced. I think, like, Tomodachi Life or whatever. I think that's what it was called. Again, not a game I necessarily played myself, but I know there's a massive fan base for that. I know that's been announced, so that's on the horizon. Great, show us some gameplay of that. But announce, again, more stuff. They need to put more things on the plate to entice people to actually be like, hey, shit, am I gonna go spend $400+ on a new console? You know, that's kind of what you need to do. But I digress. It is just one of the things we had to talk about in this video. Now let's move on to some rumors, because there has been a few rumors that have cropped up over on the lovely website of 4chan. Starting things off with this Pokemon. I cannot believe we're back to this, dude. Pokemon Plus and Minus. Anybody else feel like it's like 2018, 2019 again? Holy shit, I cannot believe we're actually doing this. Okay, so Pokemon Plus and Minus, what this person says. The most open Pokemon world ever seen. Ooh, okay. Ulu Raya region, based on Australia. Okay, we're going down under. That doesn't sound, I mean, doesn't sound impossible, but also doesn't make any sense, because we do know from the leaks that they were aiming for Gen 10 to be based on, I think, like, what, Southeast Asia, which, I mean, you could include the tip of Australia in that too, but, like, the entire region be based on Australia, I doubt it, given the fact what the leaks have said. Not that I say I'm against it, I'd freaking love it, but I'm just saying it doesn't really make sense. But, next thing, grass crocodile. I'll do love me some crocs. Fire kangaroo, and a water platypus. Frankly speaking, I love the idea of all three of these. I'd love a grass crocodile Pokemon. We kind of already have had a water crocodile, a fire crocodile essentially, and now we need that final one. We need like a grass one. But a fire kangaroo would be sick, okay? And a water platypus kind of makes sense. Like, I don't know what else they would. I mean, you could give another typing to a platypus, but I wouldn't mind a platypus, to be honest. The thing, though, he says, though, is apparently the grass croc, the crocodile, evolves into a grass fighting type, which, okay, that's interesting. The fire kangaroo evolves into a fire fairy type. Very nice. I do like me that. Actually, wouldn't that be the first fairy fire type ever? Wouldn't it be? I have a suspicion that wouldn't that be the first fairy fire type Pokemon? Or am I crazy? Let me see. Fire Pokemon. I don't think we have one, right? There's currently not a single one. So that would be our first actual fairy fire type. So that, personally, dude, I'd love that. Like, that would be actually sick. That would actually be really sick, but we'll have to wait and see if that would be true. Next thing, though, is Water Platypus, which evolves into a Water Steel type. Then it says the first Black Professor, which... Is that true? Didn't we have that? No, we didn't have that in Sun and Moon. Am I confusing something? I feel like I'm confusing. I don't even remember who's been a professor before, but I digress. Megas returning, apparently, which we kind of already had Megas return in ZA, but then again, that's not a new generation, so And then 126 new Pokemon. That sounds like an average. Well, actually, no, that would be a large number nowadays, but I wouldn't mind 126 actually new Pokemon. Regional Bird is a Magpie. Again, nothing too crazy. New pre-evolutions and cross-gen evolutions. Dude, I'd love it if we got some new pre-evolutions and cross-gen evos. Like, that would actually be really nice. 14 gyms, but can only battle 8 with adjustable level scaling. See, this is a cool concept in my mind, right? So imagine if you did actually have 14 gyms, but to actually get to the end of the game, you only had to beat 8 of them. That would actually be really cool. Like, as a concept where it's like, holy shit, like, imagine the possibilities, right? Oh, actually, you know what? No, I just had the realization. Imagine the possibilities. Oh my lord. You could have so many combinations. Like, you could have so many combos of how you approach an actual playthrough. Like, there would actually be real replayability in a Pokemon game if they did this. Like, an actual genuine replayability where it's not just an arbitrary thing where it's like, yeah, you can replay the game. Yeah, because it's always different because you can catch different Pokemon. Not really, let's be honest. When you play through a Pokemon game, it's always a static journey. And most people always think about Gen 4. Everybody had the same team in Gen 4. Let's be honest. If you didn't have a Luxray on your team, you know you're lying. But my point is, like, it would be so interesting if we had, like, 14 gyms, but you didn't have to do all of them. You only need to do 8 of them. And then the order in which you do them and which ones you choose to do is all up to you. Then the journey becomes truly your own journey, an actual open world experience. Shit, dude, that would actually be so sick. Either way, next up, totem-like bosses that fill the remaining 4 types. Oh, wait, remaining 4 types? What does that mean? One legendary based on a rainbow serpent that has 2 version exclusive forms. One legendary based on a rainbow serpent that has 2 version. Okay, fair enough. Guzma and Iris return. That would be interesting. 18 new regional forms, 27 new megas. That's a lot of numbers. One of the rivals is connected to the evil team. A new Pokemon inspired by wolf in sheep's clothing. I swear I've heard this exact sentence before. Dude, I've read so many of these rumors over the years. I swear I've heard that exact sentence. A new Pokemon inspired by wolf in sheep's clothing. I swear I've heard the exact same thing before. An electric guitar stingray new Pokemon. And last of all, still no national dex. A lot of that's like the cherry on top. Like, actually, guys, I got around it a little bit, bruv. There's no national dex. But yeah, that's fine, I guess. Either way, that was an interesting rumor to say the least. I don't know how else to put this. It is just a weird rumor, isn't it? But again, I digress. It is interesting. I don't know if it's real though. Pokemon Plus and Minus. See, if they had done a Pokemon Plus and Minus instead of Sword and Shield back in 2019, I would have been like, thought it would made more sense back then to call them that, Plus and Minus, given like the introduction of the Switch with the plus and minus buttons on the actual Joy-Cons. But now that we're so far since then, that, I mean, dude, holy shit, we're actually, dude, next year is going to be a decade since the Switch came out. I cannot believe this. I'm actually having like an existential crisis in the middle of a video. My point is, it made sense back in 2017. It doesn't make sense now anymore. Like, it doesn't make any sense to do the plus and minus, at least in terms of a promotional thing, right? To be like, hey guys, the plus and minus on your Switch, Joy-Con, yeah, you know, they're not doing that. That's not like what it's all about. Instead, it would just be plus and minus as an overall concept, which I am still okay with, but I think it was a missed opportunity to do this way back then. But I digress. It is what it is. I ain't gonna say nothing else about that. So, moving on to the next thing, we're going to jump over to this post, which was shared by Light, who says that apparently also Nate the Hate suggested that Gen 10 could be officially revealed during Pokemon Day in February, which, sorry, but how's this even like, okay, I've got to be honest. We kind of already know this, don't we? Or am I missing something? This was posted today. Can be officially revealed during Pokemon Day in February, and based on what he's heard in private conversations, it may feature a noticeable improved visual style, potentially delivering the long-awaited graphical leap many fans have been hoping for. Wait, listen, first of all, we already know Gen 10 is going to be revealed next month in February. We already know this. This is not it's not an ifs and buts question. This is not a speculative thing. We literally know that they're revealing it because they have to reveal it. There has not been a new mainline Pokemon game in, I shit you not, this year it will be 4 years, which doesn't, like, compute to me either, because Scarlet and Violet feel like they released yesterday, but no, it's been 3 years plus at this point. So it's about time. Like, they have to literally release it now. Like, it's not a, you know, it's not really a question. They just have to put it out. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But again, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it all turns out. And what they actually show. But that was that. Now let's move over to something a little bit more, I guess, substantial in terms of rumors, which is apparently this guy says, Pocket Monsters 2019 scrapped IDs. And he says, did you miss me, VP? And then he has some interesting stuff. He says Shinji was supposed to be in Masters Tournament. And he's talking about, I guess, like what they were supposed to do for the anime. But apparently Shinji was supposed to be in the Masters Tournament up until mid-2021. Now, Shinji, if I remember correctly, what was his name? Paul? His name Paul? The guy in like Gen 4. Like the rival in Gen 4. Was his name Paul? Was he called Paul? Was it Paul in Gen 4? It was Paul. Must have been Paul, right? But yeah, so apparently he was supposed to show up in the Masters Tournament up until mid-2021 when it was decided Allen would take his place. Speaking of Sinnoh, Satoshi's Gokazaru was going to be a major part in Lucario's arc. Game Freak met with anime staff in late 2021 to show the Paldea starters. This was the meeting where they decided to replace Satoshi. Okay, episodes are finished 63 months ahead of airing. Production on Pocket Monsters 2019 began in mid-2018. A mini arc set in Galar was planned. Go challenge the first 3 gyms to learn Dynamaxing. Koharu's Eevee was meant to Kyodaimax, I guess Gigantamax, during the Black Knight arc. Game Freak did not like the direction the series was heading. The clip shows were made to give the animation team more time. Okay, interesting. Again, it's a weird rumor. I don't know if you can really trust this one, but I don't really keep up that much with the anime, but I do know a lot of people do keep up with it and do value a lot of this information. So if you guys are into the anime, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. Does this surprise you? Does this sound legitimate? Do you have any opinions on it? Let me know down below. And that's pretty much that. So yeah, to summarize, basically, we have a Nintendo Direct most likely on the horizon very, very soon. Like, this is not even a question. It's literally like right around the corner. Most likely, right? Because they always do one in February. It's not far-fetched to assume that this Direct hopefully would reveal like the next big game for this year from this company. Because remember, we already know some of the small stuff like Pokopia, Pokemon Champions, that kind of stuff, at least from Pokemon, from Nintendo themselves. We do have, again, Todomachi Life or whatever. Again, not a game that I necessarily am that excited for, not really my cup of tea, but I know a lot of people do love it, so that's there. Then, of course, you know, people are expecting to see a new Zelda announced. That's like the big one. That's like the big bombastic one that people need to see. Otherwise, they're going to be shitting themselves. And also, of course, I'm hoping personally to see like more third-party games, like actually non-Nintendo games being announced for this thing. And also, hopefully, to see some gameplay of the new From Software game, the people who made Dark Souls and stuff, because they are making a exclusive game for the Switch 2 that I'm curious about, because I got the Switch 2 over there just collecting fucking dust. I only use it for Pokemon. I'd love to use it for something besides Pokemon. And From Software is a company that I really like, so I want to see what they have to bring to the table with their upcoming games. So at least there's that. But yes, we know essentially that there's most likely, according to insiders, a Direct in the first week, so literally next week of February. The second thing is, we had the plus and minus rumor. I'd love to know if you guys think it's real or not. And then, of course, we spoke a little bit about this whole thing about, noticeable improvements and, Pokemon Gen 10 being revealed, which we kind of already know is going to be the case. And, of course, the anime stuff. So, let me know in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? I freaking love you guys. Thank you for watching. And I'll be seeing you all in I guess the next video. I don't know what else to say. I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. So have a great day. I'll see you next time. And peace out and bye bye, ladies and gents.